Final Fantasy VII Original. Alright, Final Fantasy VII, the original one from 1997. This game straight up changed everything, not just for Square before they were even called Square Enix, but for the entire gaming world. Like, when people talk about games that changed the industry, this is one of the first ones that comes up, and it totally deserves that spot. For this, Final Fantasy was mostly big in Japan. The earlier games were cool, but they didn't really blow up worldwide. Then FF7 comes along on the PlayStation 1, and boom, now everyone's talking about RPGs. This was the game that made tons of people try the genre for the first time. It opened the door for all the JRPGs that followed, especially in the West. Let's talk about why it hit so hard. First off, the story. You play as Cloud, this quiet mercenary with a big sword and a messed up past. He joins this rebel group called Avalanche to fight a huge company called Shinra that's draining the planet's energy, but it's not just a simple good versus evil thing. The story keeps twisting and growing, turning into this huge emotional roller coaster with deep characters, personal trauma, and one of the most iconic villains ever, Sephiroth. Then there's the graphics. Yeah, they look rough now, but in 1997, they were mind-blowing. Those pre-rolled backgrounds, the full 3D models, the cutscenes, it was like watching a movie. It made games feel bigger, like they weren't just for kids anymore. This game proved that video games could be epic, cinematic, and emotional all at once. And of course, the music. Nobuo Uematsu went off on this one. Every track is a banger. From the battle themes to Aerith's theme to the final boss music, people still listen to this soundtrack today. It's legendary. FF7 also helped Square go from a cool little RPG company to a global powerhouse. This was their biggest hit ever at the time, and it basically locked Square in as one of the kings of the JRPG world. Without FF7, there's no Kingdom Hearts, no FFX, maybe not even Square Enix as we know it now. It was that big of a deal. Mass Effect 2. Okay, so, like, I still remember booting up Mass Effect 2 for the first time and getting smacked right in the face. Shepard just dies in the first 5 minutes, like, straight up, boom, dead. I thought my save was broken or something, but nah, turns out that's just how the game starts. Pretty cool, huh? Then, this shady group called Cerberus brings you back from the dead, yes really, and suddenly you're working with this sketchy guy in a suit who's got glowing eyes like a Bond villain. He's all, hey buddy, humanity's in danger, let's go. And you're just like, guess I'm in?
You could have trained an entire army for what you spent to bring me back.
You're unique.
But the real magic of Mass Effect 2, it's not even the aliens or the space stuff, it's the crew. Like, for real, the characters in this game are everything. You spend most of the game just building your team, finding these weird, cool, kind of broken people across the galaxy and trying to earn their trust. Everyone's got their own problems and it's your job to help fix them. You don't have to, but yeah, it won't be pretty for them. You got people like Garrus, the cool sniper dude who's basically Space Batman now, Jack, Thane, and Mordin. Everyone's got some deep story going on, and the more time you spend with them, the more you're like, dang, I actually care about these people.
Model of a scientist Solarian.
The vibe of the game is so good too. It's moody, but not in a boring way. It's got that slick sci-fi feel where everything's a little dangerous, but also cool as hell. Plus, the conversations you have actually matter. You can piss people off, or fall in love, or totally mess things up and feel bad about it forever. And man, that final mission, the suicide mission, still one of the most stressful and awesome endings ever. You plan the whole thing, you assign roles, and if you mess up even a little bit, people die, like permanently. And when you make it through with everyone alive, it's the best feeling ever. Like you just beat the game and got your family through it. Kind of beautiful, not gonna lie. So yeah, Mass Effect 2 is more than just a space RPG. It's like a sci-fi drama mixed with found family vibes, sprinkled with intense choices and great voice acting. It's the kind of story that just stays with you. You finish the game and go, damn, I miss my crew already. Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 is like the gold standard for RPG stories. The Witcher 3 hits different. Like, yeah, it's a giant open world full of monsters and war and weird stuff happening in the woods, but deep down, this is just the story of a grumpy old monster hunter trying to find his adopted daughter. That's it. That's the heart, and it's so freaking good. You play as Geralt. White hair, yellow eyes, voiced like he smokes 300 cigarettes a day, but under all that tough guy stuff, he's actually a softie. He's just really bad at showing it. The whole game kicks off with him trying to find Ciri, who's kind of like his kid, even though he's not her real dad. She's in danger, and there's this spooky group called the Wild Hunt chasing her down. So you're like, alright, time to go full dad mode and save my girl.
Elder blood flows in Ciri's veins.
But while you're doing all this dad detective stuff, you also get pulled into literally everything else happening in the world, and the writing is so good, you want to get pulled in. One minute you're chasing leads about Ciri, the next you're helping a dude haunted by a ghost baby, like what? It sounds crazy, but somehow it all fits.
It's a deal.
And the side quests are like, they're not just go kill 5 wolves nonsense. These are full-blown mini-stories. Some of them are better than main stories in other games. Also, shout out to the Bloody Baron quest. You know what I'm talking about, that whole storyline. Bruh, it's dark, it's emotional, and it's not afraid to show messed up people doing messed up things, but in a very human way. Like, you don't agree with everything, but you get it. That's rare in game.
Forgive me. You who came, but who I did not embrace.
And then there's the ending, or, well, endings, plural. What happens to Ciri, to Yennefer, to the world? Depends on how you handled stuff. And the moment you realize what ending you got, whew.
Now don't fuck this up.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Frightening man, but you have something he doesn't.
Okay, real talk. Baldur's Gate 3 is, it's like someone took a giant Dungeons and Dragons session, gave it $1 billion budget, and said, go crazy. And oh boy, it goes crazy. You've got drama, you've got chaos, you've got mind flayers shoving space worms in your eyeball 5 minutes into the game. The basic setup is this. You're infected with a parasite that should have turned you into a monster by now, but instead you start developing powers. Weird, creepy powers, so now you're trying to find a cure, stop yourself from becoming a tentacle-faced freak, and also figure out why you're not dead yet. It's a mess. But like with most great RPGs, it's not even the main plot that makes this game so special, it's the people, the companions. These characters are just so well written. You got Asterion, sexy vampire boy with a tragic backstory who flirts with you while plotting murder. Shadowheart, the mysterious cleric with major leave me alone but also love me energy. Gale's out here eating magical items like snacks. Bazel's threatening to kill everyone 24/7, and somehow you care about all of them, even when they're being absolute gremlins. The game is all about choice, not just do you save the town or not. I mean, like, every tiny thing can branch out. Who you sleep with, who you trust, who you backstab. You can literally beat the game as a total villain if you want, or you can play the perfect little hero and still have things go horribly wrong. And that's kind of the beauty of it. There's something super cool about how personal the story gets too. Yeah, there's a big war happening. Yeah, the fate of the world is in your hands. But at the core, it's about your journey, your party, your relationships. You start as this random infected nobody, and you end up leading armies, making gods kneel, or totally screwing everything up. Oh, and by the way, the romance in this game is, I mean, you can fall in love with vampires, devils, druids, tieflings, Githyanki warriors, basically anyone and anything. There's even a scene where a bear might hit on you. No spoilers, but yeah, it's a thing. But somehow, under all the memes and weird stuff, there's actual heart. Like, the relationships feel real. People open up, they change, they grow. And when you finally hit that perfect romantic moment with someone, it's legit emotional. Chrono Trigger. So Chrono Trigger is kind of like that one game people keep hyping up forever, and then when you finally play it, you're like, dang, they were right. It's not just good for an old game, it's just plain amazing. We start off as this spiky-haired kid named Chrono who's just vibing at a fair with his friends. Next thing you know, boom! A teleportation machine goes very wrong, a princess vanishes, and you accidentally travel through time. No big deal, right? Just another Tuesday, but then it spirals into this full-blown adventure across literally all of history, the past, future, ancient times, post-apocalyptic junkyards, everything. And it's not just for cool vibes. The story actually uses time travel in super smart ways, like you change stuff in the past and boom, it changes the future. Sometimes in awesome ways, sometimes not so much. And you kind of feel the weight of every choice, even with those little pixel faces. What makes the story so special though? The characters, hands down. Everyone in your party has their own little emotional arc. You got Luca, the genius inventor who's low-key dealing with some childhood trauma, Frog, a literal talking frog knight with the saddest backstory ever, Ayla, who's a cave woman but somehow wiser than everyone else, and Robo, the robot with a heart who teaches you about friendship better than any human could. It's a weird crew, but you grow to love them. And the pacing, man, this game just moves. No fluff, no boring filler side stuff, every part of the story pushes things forward, hits you with something new, or smacks you right in the feelings. There's even a part where your main character literally dies, like goof, gone, and the game just lets you sit in that grief for a bit. Then, if you play it right, you can go back in time and save him. It's so powerful and the game doesn't even scream about it, just lets it happen, and somehow it hits harder because of that. And let's not forget the villain, Lavos, this giant alien porcupine-looking nightmare that's been chilling underground for millions of years, just waiting to ruin everyone's day. It's not even evil for a reason, it's just this unstoppable thing, which makes it scarier somehow. You're not fighting some dude with a cape and a monologue, you're fighting destiny, and you might lose. That's what makes it hit different. Plus, this game has like 13 different endings, and they're not little good or bad flips either. They're totally different outcomes depending on what you do and when. Some are goofy, some are sad, and some feel like you really earned them. It's wild how much replay value it has for a game with no voice acting, no fancy cutscenes, just pure storytelling power. Fallout New Vegas. You're a courier, minding your own business, delivering a package through the Mojave Desert. Easy job, right? Until some jerk in a checkered suit shoots you in the head and leaves you in a shallow grave. Yep, that's how this game starts. No dragons. No intro cutscene of your mom dying, just boom, you're dead. And then you wake up and everything goes downhill. Or uphill, depending how chaotic you want to play it. That's Fallout New Vegas in a nutshell. You start off small, just a dude or dudette trying to figure out why someone tried to kill you, but by the end, you're literally deciding the future of an entire region. Who controls New Vegas? What happens to the people living there? Who dies? Who thrives? And who gets absolutely nuked into the dirt? It's all on you. And yo, the writing? Top tier. Like, this isn't just some post-apocalyptic shooter with cool guns. This game is smart. You walk into every town or faction thinking you're gonna be the hero, and then suddenly you realize, wait, nobody is really the good guy here. The NCR wants to bring law and order, but kinda sucks at it. Caesar's Legion is basically Mad Max, but more evil. Mr. House is a creepy rich guy running Vegas like some kind of sci-fi casino mafia. And then there's you, in the middle of it all, just vibing with a revolver and too many choices. But it's the freedom that makes this story so unforgettable. You can lie your way out of fights, talk people into killing themselves, join factions, betray factions, or go full screw everyone, I run this place now mode. There's even a whole ending path where you tell all the factions to get lost and just take control yourself, like straight up main character energy. The world itself tells stories too. You'll stumble across burned towns with skeletons still holding each other, computer logs that break your heart, notes left behind by people who thought help was coming. It's the kind of game where exploration is storytelling. Even a random shack in the middle of nowhere could hit you with a mini tragedy. And the coolest part? You don't even have to follow the main story. Want to become a slum warlord? Go for it. Want to just gamble in Vegas and ignore the apocalypse? Knock yourself out. This game gives you the tools, hands you a dusty world full of chaos and politics and weirdos, and just says, do your thing. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. This one's old, like original Xbox was still poppin'. Old, but do not let the age fool you. KOTOR is like vintage Star Wars mixed with deep role-playing goodness, and honestly, it's still legendary. You start out as just some nobody on a ship that's under attack. No memory, no clue what's going on. Classic, mysterious RPG protagonist vibes. But then, bam, you get thrown into this galactic mess where the Republic is fighting a Sith army led by this super scary dude named Darth Malak, and his old master, Darth Revan, is supposedly dead. Or is he? And while that sounds like your typical Star Wars stuff at first, Jedi vs Sith, good vs evil, what this game does with that setup is where the real magic happens. Because you're not just watching a story unfold, you are the story. Every decision, every moral choice, every little side quest, it shapes the person you become, Jedi or Sith, savior or destroyer, hope or fear, all that. And of course, we have to talk about the twist. If you've played it, you already know. If you haven't, I'm not gonna spoil it, but let's just say there's a moment in this game where everything you thought you knew gets flipped upside down so hard, you just sit there in silence for like 5 minutes. Even if you kind of saw it coming, the way it's revealed and how it changes everything, damn man, that twist is iconic. Still one of the best in gaming history.
Malak is a tyrant who should be stopped. If he conquers the galaxy, we're in for a couple of...
But it's not just the plot that makes KOTOR shine, it's how much freedom you have. Want to be a peaceful Jedi? Cool. Want to force choke everyone and go full Darth mode? Totally an option. Want to flirt with Bastilla and then betray her? Yep. Or maybe save her, redeem her, fall in love with her, it's all possible. The game doesn't force you down a path, it lets you become whoever you want to be in that galaxy far, far away. Also, just side note, this game made being a Jedi feel cool. Not just lightsaber swinging cool, though yes, that too, but like the responsibility, the philosophy, the balance. It actually made you think about your choices. You couldn't just spam the nice guy button and win. Sometimes doing the right thing led to disaster. Sometimes the dark side tempted you in ways that made total sense. That moral tug of war, that's the soul of KOTOR. Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins is the kind of game where you start off just vibing with a sword and a dream, and by the time you're done, you're out here leading armies, making life or death choices for entire kingdoms, and maybe even sleeping with a witch who wants your baby for mysterious reasons. Dragon Age Origins is one of those games that sounds simple at first. There's a big evil army coming, you're one of the few people who can stop it, cool, classic, but man, once you start playing, it's way deeper than that. Your intro is super different from if you're a poor elf living in the slums. Everyone treats you differently depending on who you are. It's actually kind of wild how much that changes the game. And then everything goes to hell. A giant demon army shows up called the Blight, and you get dragged into saving the world whether you want to or not. You become a Grey Warden, basically a monster hunter with a short lifespan, and now it's on you to gather allies, fight battles, and deal with a ton of messed up choices that honestly made me sit there staring at the screen like, what do I do?
Dream friend, I am dying of something.
Like seriously, you have to pick who becomes king. You gotta deal with werewolves versus elves, there's a demon-possessed kid at one point, and let's just say none of the options are pretty. But that's what makes it so good. Nothing is black and white, it's all messy, and it feels real. Also, as for the gameplay, yeah, the combat's a little old school, you gotta pause the game a lot to tell your team what to do. But once you get into it, it's fun. It feels like running your own little army squad. Divinity Original Sin 2.
We must fight for the future of our world.
You start off as a prisoner on a boat. You've got this magic inside you that's considered dangerous and people want to control it. But of course, things go wrong. The boat explodes, because of course it does. And boom! Now you're free in this big fantasy world where literally everything wants to kill you. And you're supposed to become some kind of god. What makes this game so awesome is how much freedom it gives you. Like, you can do almost anything. Want to play as a lizard man who breathes fire? Go for it. Want to be an undead skeleton who hides his face so people don't freak out? Totally an option. You can even talk to animals if you take the right perk, and yes, those animal combos can be hilarious or even important.
The baby's the egg. I have something fun.
And the story here is, man, it's huge. You and your party are all god-woken, meaning one of you could become the new divine, basically like a magic pope with mega powers. But of course, everyone else wants that spot too, so you've got this awkward team-up vibe where everyone's working together, but low-key also side-eyeing each other like, I'm gonna betray you later, maybe. The party members are wild, by the way. You've got Fane, an undead guy who's old as hell and super sarcastic. Los, a singer who's literally possessed by a demon. Sibyl, an assassin elf with major trauma. Beast, a dwarf pirate with a beef against an evil empire. And Ifan, basically a fantasy John Wick. They all have their own stories, goals, and drama, and you can play as any of them or make your own character. It's nuts.
Those of us that remain are being hunted, and with good reason.
But here's where it gets real, your choices matter, like a lot, and the game doesn't hold your hand. If you mess up a fight or kill the wrong NPC, that's it, the game moves on. You don't get a second chance, but that's kind of what makes it exciting. Everything feels high stakes. The writing's sharp, the world is gorgeous, and the combat, turn-based but super fun. You can set the floor on fire, teleport enemies into traps, freeze a dude, and then smash him with a hammer. It's all about thinking smart and using the environment. Feels almost like solving puzzles with fireballs. Cyberpunk 2077.
Regards. So you're gonna consider my offer now?
Now, Cyberpunk story here is just a regular dude or girl in Night City trying to make it big. That's it. That's the dream. Get rich, get famous, live fast, look cool doing it. But of course, it all goes sideways so fast. You do one job, and suddenly you've got a biochip stuck in your head with a digital ghost living in your brain, and that ghost is Johnny Silverhand, a rock star terrorist played by Keanu Reeves, who's kinda a jerk, but also kinda awesome. And now you've got two problems. One, you're dying, and two, he's trying to take over your body. So yeah, not great.
Fruit creeping into you. Nothing I can do about it.
But here's what makes this game hit different. It's not really about saving the world, it's about you. It's about what you do when your time's running out, who you choose to be, who you fight for, who you fall in love with, and whether or not you want to leave anything behind when you're gone. The world of Night City is insane. Neon everywhere, cops, gangs, rich corpos, broken down slums, robot hookers, talking vending machines. It's all here. Every street feels alive. You just walk around and you feel like you're really there. Like you could grab a drink, start a fight, or just ride your bike at night while some sad synth music plays. Honestly, sometimes that's the best part. And the characters, straight up bangers. Panem is this badass nomad girl who's ride or die once you earn her trust. Judy is super sweet, but also dealing with a lot of pain. River is a chill detective type. Carrie is Johnny's old bandmate and full of drama. And speaking of Johnny, he grows on you. At first he's all burn it all down, but over time you see this broken, angry dude who just didn't want to be forgotten. Kinda heartbreaking, honestly. The writing is deep, like there are moments where you're just sitting on a rooftop talking about life and a cat, if you know what I mean, and it hits. You start out thinking, yeah, I'm gonna be rich and famous, and by the end you're like, man, I just want someone to remember me. The game gives you different endings too, some hopeful, some rough, some just bittersweet as hell, and every single one feels earned, based on your choices, how you treated people, and how close you got to them.
Think this is it, kiddo?
Yes. So.
Promise me one thing, will you?
I promise. No idea what, but I promise.
Persona 5 Royal.
You're mine.
Yes, this is a JRPG about teenagers going to school, but don't bounce yet, because it's also about diving into people's minds, stealing their twisted desires, and literally changing hearts. You play as this quiet dude, Joker. He gets falsely accused of a crime, kicked out of his old life, and sent to live in Tokyo on probation. Basically, the world treats you like garbage for something you didn't even do, kinda rough. But then you meet some misfits, unlock this mysterious app, and bam, now you're part of a secret squad called the Phantom Thieves, going into a parallel world called the Metaverse, where people's messed up thoughts become real places.
Hey, look out!
The goal is to change corrupt adults by beating their inner demons and making them confess in the real world. And you're not just fighting monsters, you're calling out abusers, creeps, thieves, manipulators, all the worst types, and when you finally make them break down and admit what they did, ooh, it's satisfying. And some of those bosses, I wanted to deck them through the screen. But the real heart of the game, it's the people. You're not just fighting shadows and crawling dungeons, you're also going to school, taking exams, eating ramen, working part-time jobs, and hanging out with your friends. You get to know them. And man, each one has real stuff going on, like Anne, who's trying to stay strong after what her friend went through, or Ryuji, who's been labeled a troublemaker but is actually just a loyal dude with a big heart. And then there's Futaba, who deals with heavy anxiety and grief, and you slowly help her come out of her shell. It's wholesome as hell. Also, let's talk music. Persona 5 has some of the best music ever in a game, period. Every battle feels hype, every chill moment feels smooth, and every sad moment hits extra hard with that jazzy piano in the background. Combat's turn-based, but slick. You'll use magic, guns, weird demon creatures called personas, and it feels fast and fun, not slow or boring like some other turn-based games. You can plan your moves, hit enemy weaknesses, and set up some flashy team attacks that feel so dang cool. So yeah, Persona 5 Royal is more than just high school anime fun. It's a game about justice, friendship, and trying to fix a broken world in your own small way. And it sticks with you, trust me. Lost Odyssey. So you're this guy named Kaim Argonar, and yeah, he looks like your typical brooding JRPG main character. Long hair, deadpan stare, big sword, but the twist? This dude is immortal. Like, has been alive for over 1,000 years, and not in a wow cool I'm a vampire lol kind of way. More like everyone I love eventually dies and I have to watch it happen again and again and again, and I can't stop it and I can't forget it. At the start of the game, Kaim doesn't remember any of that. His memories are just gone, wiped out. So he's stuck wandering around this world, feeling all this pain, but not knowing why it hurts so much. It's like emotional whiplash. And then piece by piece, his past starts coming back, and holy crap, it hurts. And I'm not even talking about the main plot yet, which, by the way, is solid. There's magic tech wars, corrupted kings, ancient secrets, the whole JRPG shebang. But the real gold, it's in these little stories called the 1,000 Years of Dreams. You unlock them as Kaim gets his memories back. And I'm telling you, these stories are pure art. Like straight up short story masterpieces, just text on a screen. But so real, so raw. They're about love, loss, hope, guilt, regret. All the stuff that makes being human so damn hard. And then there's the party. A dude's not going through this alone. You meet other immortals who are going through the same thing, stuck in this weird timeless pain. But then you've also got mortals, like kids, lovers, warriors, and you see how their lives crash into the immortals like waves on a rock. They come, they go, and they matter, even if just for a moment. That's the whole point of this game, honestly, that life matters because it ends, that the beauty is in the moment, in the memories. NieR Replicant. You start this game thinking it's gonna be simple. You're just some guy trying to save his little sister. Yona's sick, real sick, and she's all you've got. You're out here swinging a big sword, running errands for the village, chasing down clues, just doing whatever it takes to help her. It's kinda sweet at first. Quiet. A little sad, but comforting too. And then things start to feel off. Like there's something underneath all this. You don't really notice it at first because you're too busy taking care of Yona or dealing with side quests, but the longer you play, the more it starts to feel heavy. Like there's a weight behind every word people say. Like something's wrong with the world and nobody's talking about it. Eventually the game hits you with a big time skip. Everything changes. Characters are older, things are colder. You're still trying to save Yana, but the world's meaner now. You're not just helping people anymore. You're fighting harder, killing more, and even though your goal hasn't changed, it doesn't feel as pure anymore. You start to wonder why it all feels so hollow. And then the real gut punch comes. When you finish it the first time, it asks you to play again. Same story, same quests, same boss fights, but this time you start hearing things, like actually hearing what the enemies are saying. And they're not just monsters, they're people. They're crying, begging, trying to protect their families just like you, and it crushes you because now every swing of your sword feels different, wrong even. The game keeps doing this. Each ending goes deeper, and it's not just about plot twists or new cutscenes, it's about peeling back everything you thought you knew. It messes with you, it makes you feel things you didn't expect from a game that looks like your typical anime action RPG. NieR Replicant isn't clean or polished in the way some big budget games are. It's weird sometimes, clunky in a few spots, but man, it's full of heart. Real heart. The kind that lingers, the kind that makes you sit there in silence after the credits roll, just staring at the screen, thinking about life. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, 2004. It's 2004, games are getting bigger but not always smarter. Then comes Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. This game literally throws you into this dark, messed up version of Los Angeles. But it's not just a city, it's a living, breathing vampire playground. You get turned into a vampire right at the start, and suddenly you're pulled into this secret war between different vampire families, ancient curses, and lots of backstabbing. You can play it from a top-down view like a classic RPG, or go first person if you want to feel right in the action. Now, why was this game so good back then, and why do people still talk about it like it's better than most new stuff? It's all about role-playing, my friend, like for real. When you start, you don't just pick if you're a fighter or a wizard, you pick your vampire clan, and this choice changes everything. Imagine picking the Malkavian clan. Your character is literally insane, so the words they say in dialogue are completely jumbled and crazy, but sometimes those crazy words actually make sense in a weird, prophetic way. It's wild. Or you could pick the Nosferatu clan, and your character is so ugly, just looking at them makes normal people scream and run away. So you have to sneak around the whole city in sewers and dark alleys to do quests. No, just walking into a fancy store for you, this kind of choice where your whole game experience changes based on who you picked was almost unheard of back then, and honestly it's still rare in new RPGs today. The game let you actually play your character. You could be a smooth talker who sweet talks her way out of trouble, a sneaky thief who picks locks and hacks computers, or just a brute who smashes everyone. The game didn't force you to fight every single enemy. You had options, real freedom in how you solved problems. That level of player choice and different solutions for quests was just amazing for 2004. But let me be honest, it was a bit of a mess when it first launched. It had a ton of bugs because it was rushed, but here's the thing that really proves how special it was: the fans. The games community loved it so much that they spent years making unofficial patches, fixing bugs, and even putting back content that was cut from the game. That kind of dedication from players just doesn't happen for a mediocre game. But it happened because Bloodlines was a diamond, even if it needed a lot of polishing from the fans. So yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is a legendary classic because it gave players unmatched freedom, amazing writing, and true role-playing choices that still feel fresh today. It showed what was possible, even if it stumbled a bit at the start. It's a game you have to play if you want to see how deep an RPG can really get. Icewind Dale 2, 2002. So imagine you're way up north in the frozen lands of Icewind Dale. It's a harsh place full of scary monsters, giants, and weird magic. You're not some special chosen one, you're just part of a group of adventurers looking for trouble and loot. The story is good, but this game isn't so much about deep talks with everyone you meet, it's about getting your boots dirty, exploring dungeons, and fighting a lot of bad guys. Now here's why Icewind Dale 2 was so good back then and why it still holds up against new games. You get to create recreate your entire party. Yeah, you hear that right. You make all 6 heroes from scratch. You pick their race like a strong dwarf or a sneaky elf, their class, maybe a tough fighter, a spell-slinging wizard, or a healing priest, and all their skills and powers. This is huge because it means your team is totally unique. You can make a perfect squad that works just how you want them to right from the start. A lot of modern RPGs just give you one hero and then you pick from set buddies. This game lets you build your whole crew. This game really shines if you love testing out different character builds and seeing how your custom team handles endless waves of monsters. It's a pure, unadulterated dungeon crawl with tons of D&D rules under the hood, and that's exactly why people loved it then and still do now. Planescape Torment.
You know, I've learned some new tricks.
I haven't had this much
So this game starts with you waking up on a metal slab in a creepy ass morgue. You're covered in scars, totally naked, and you've got no memory of anything. Not your name, not what happened, nothing. Just this floating, smart-mouthed skull named Mort staring at you like, hey chief, rise and shine. And from there, it only gets weirder. You're called the Nameless One, which is exactly what it sounds like, and you've lived a lot of lives before this one. Like every time you die, you forget everything and wake up again, over and over. So yeah, you're basically immortal, but in the most depressing way possible. You've hurt people, you've saved people, you've been kind, cruel, selfish, noble, and you don't remember any of it. You're just trying to figure out who you are, why you can't die, and what the hell it all means. And the writing? Holy crap, it's not just good, it's literature level. Like, you'll talk to a random character and they'll drop some poetic line about death or regret that makes you stop and just stare at the screen for a minute. Every person you meet feels weirdly real, even if they're a floating eyeball or a talking suit of armor or a lady who speaks only in sighs and smells. Yeah, that's the vibe. And don't expect a ton of flashy action or big boss fights. This game's like 90% talking and reading, but the dialogue is the main event. You're constantly choosing what to say, who to believe, how to act. You can lie, threaten, forgive, beg, be wise, be dumb, and the world reacts to you. Like, seriously reacts. You're shaping who you are in real time, not just stat-wise, but soul-wise. It's honestly more intense than most real-life conversations I've had, not gonna lie.
You know, I've learned some new tricks.
It all builds up to this moment where you finally understand what's going on. Who you were, why you're cursed, what's really going on with your immortality, and it's just, dude. It's heavy, not in the twist ending kind of way, more like this slow, painful realization that sticks with you. The ending hits hard, but not because of some big fight or explosion. It hits because you feel it deep down. And I haven't even talked about the world yet. This isn't your usual swords and sorcery setting, this is Planescape, a universe made of floating cities, walking ideas, and literal beliefs shaping reality. Like, if enough people believe a lie, it might become true. Places exist just because someone dreamed them up. It's that kind of strange, dreamy, brain-bending stuff. And the city you spend most of the game in, Sigil, is like a weird mix of Gotham, Hogwarts, and a dumpster fire, and it's incredible.
This much fun since the last time.
Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, 2003. This game isn't your typical fantasy adventure. It's darker, weirder, and way cooler than you might think. It's a Japanese RPG, and you play it from a third-person view, moving around a very messed-up version of Tokyo. So imagine this. You're just a normal Japanese high school kid, and then suddenly, the whole world ends, literally. Tokyo gets folded inside out, turning into this scary, demon-filled place called the Vortex World. And you get turned into a half-demon with cool tattoos and powers. Your goal is to figure out what happened and decide what kind of new world should be born from the ashes. It's super gloomy, but in a very stylish way.
My dream shall be realized.
First, the combat system is brilliant. They call it press turn, it's turn-based, so you and the bad guys take turns hitting each other. But here's the clever part. If you hit an enemy's weak spot, like using a fire spell on an ice demon, you get an extra turn. But if you mess up or miss or they block, you lose turns. This makes every single fight a super tense puzzle. You have to really think about what you're doing, or you'll get wiped out fast. This kind of smart, risky combat was super unique back in 2003 and keeps you on your toes more than many modern games. Second, your party isn't just other human friends. Your main buddies are demons that you convince to join you. Yeah, you can literally talk to demons in battles, try to be nice, trick them, or even threaten them to get them to join your team. Then, you can take 2 of your demons and fuse them together to make a brand new, stronger demon. It's like Pokemon, but for super dark, scary, and often very cool looking demons. This system gives you tons of ways to build your team and find powerful combinations. It's a huge part of the fun and strategy. Final Fantasy 15. This game is like a road trip with your best friends, but, you know, with giant monsters and saving the world thrown in. FF15, it's an action RPG, but it's really focused on the relationships between the characters, and it's got a surprisingly emotional story. You're Prince Noctis, and you're about to get married when, bam, your kingdom gets attacked and your dad gets killed. So, you and your 3 best buddies, Gladiolus, Ignis, and Prompto, set off on this quest to take back your throne and get revenge. The story is actually pretty good. It's not just some generic save the princess thing. It's about friendship, it's about loss, and it's about growing up. It's a coming-of-age story wrapped up in a fantasy adventure. What makes FF15 special is the bond between the 4 main characters. Their interactions feel so real. They joke around, they argue, they have each other's backs, they feel like actual friends. Their camaraderie is a big part of what makes the game so enjoyable. You really get to know them, and you start to care about what happens to them. It's not just about the prince, it's about the whole crew and their journey together. The gameplay is a mix of exploration, combat, and tons of side quests. The world is huge and it's gorgeous. Driving around in your car, the regalia, and just exploring is a lot of fun. The fighting is action-oriented and pretty stylish. You can switch between different weapons, use magic, and summon these massive creatures called astrals. It's a fluid and engaging combat system. It's not just about mashing buttons, you have to think about your strategy. And the side quests, they're actually pretty good. They're not just boring fetch quests. A lot of them have their own little stories and characters. They add a lot to the world and give you more time to spend with the main characters. It's a game that's packed with things to do. Final Fantasy X. Okay, so buckle up. Final Fantasy X is an absolute classic JRPG that came out looking gorgeous on PS2 and still holds up with its emotional story and memorable characters. Graphically, the game made huge leaps for its time. The character models are super expressive, which was kinda new back then for RPGs. Cutscenes flow seamlessly with the gameplay, making the whole story feel like a movie. Plus, the world of Spira is beautifully designed. Lush jungles, sandy beaches, towering temples, all dripping with personality and culture. The turn-based battle system is streamlined but deep. The sphere grid leveling system lets you customize your character's growth in a way that feels organic and rewarding. Battles themselves are satisfying with flashy attacks and summons called Aeons that are some of the coolest things you'll see in JRPGs even today. Speaking of summons, the cinematics for those Aeons are some of the most memorable moments in gaming. When you call down that huge, flaming, or monstrous creature to wreck a boss, it feels epic every single time. The voice acting was a big deal back then, the first FF to have full voice acting in cutscenes, and it adds a lot of personality to the characters, plus Nobuo Uematsu's soundtrack were straight up legendary. Final Fantasy X is the kind of game that pulls you in with its world and characters, and once you're in, it's hard to let go. Plus, it still looks really nice today if you can stand the dated character designs. Some love them, some don't.
Well, I'm fighting.
Yuna! This is our story. Now let's see this thing through together.
Deus Ex 2000. So, imagine it's the future, the year 2052. The world is a mess. There's this terrible sickness called the Grey Death, and huge gaps between the rich and the poor. You play as JC Denton, who's like a super agent, but also kind of a blank slate that you fill in. You're working for this anti-terrorist group, but pretty soon you get caught up in a massive global conspiracy that goes way deeper than you think. Think secret societies, crazy tech, and questioning everything you're told. The story is just wild, man. It keeps you guessing the whole way through. Now, why does Deus Ex still stand tall and make some modern RPGs feel a bit, well, limited? It's all about player choice, dude. Like true player choice. This game lets you play your way almost no matter what. Got a locked door, you can pick the lock, blow it up with explosives, find a key card, hack a nearby computer to open it, or even find a secret vent to crawl through. Seriously, every single mission felt like a puzzle with 5 different answers, and you got to pick which one fit your style. This kind of freedom was mind-blowing back in 2000, and even today, very few games offer that many valid options for every situation. You weren't stuck playing a certain way, you chose how to play. You get to power up JC Denton with cool augmentations. These are like bionic upgrades you put in his body. Want to be super strong and punch through walls? Go for it. Want to be invisible and sneak past everyone? You can do that too. Or maybe you're a master hacker who just turns enemy robots against their own guys. The way you customize your character truly changes how you play the game, and it leads to some really creative solutions.
Estimating the problem. The others may not go as quietly as you think. Intelligence indicates they're behind the problems in Paris.
A bunch of pretentious old men playing at running the world.
The Kenshi. If you've ever wanted to dive into a gritty, open-world RPG that doesn't hold your hand, Kenshi is right up your alley. This game is a deep, sandbox experience set in a brutal, post-apocalyptic world where survival is the name of the game. There's no clear hero's journey here. Kenshi lets you make your own story, and it can be as chaotic, challenging, or rewarding as you make it. You start as a nobody. Literally anyone. You can pick from a handful of preset characters or just create your own with no special background or significant powers. You're not the chosen one here. The world of Kenshi is unforgiving, filled with hostile factions, dangerous wildlife, and harsh terrain. You'll need to scavenge for food, repair your broken equipment, and manage injuries. One bad decision can get you captured, enslaved, or killed. The best part about Kenshi is its open-ended gameplay. There's no linear storyline to follow. Instead, you get to create your own path. Want to become a wandering mercenary, a thief, or maybe a trader? You can do all that and more. You can even build your own base, gather resources, and grow your own little faction. You might also choose to live as a simple farmer, crafting goods and trading with others. Or maybe you want to conquer the world and become a warlord. There's no limit to how you want to play. The game has a real-time, squad-based combat system, and battles can be pretty intense. The controls might feel clunky at first, but once you get the hang of it, managing your group and taking on enemies becomes an engaging challenge. Combat is brutal, and your characters can get injured, leaving them limping or even incapacitated. You can recruit other people to join your squad, but keeping them alive is a whole different ballgame. The world of Kenshi is vast and absolutely packed with things to discover. There are dozens of different factions, each with their own goals and agendas. Whether it's a nomadic group of traders or a militant empire, each area has its own vibe and risks. The world feels alive with opportunity and danger, and your actions can change how certain factions treat you. The art style is pretty unique. Kenshi has this rough, almost hand-drawn look with detailed environments that feel real and lived in. The world is huge with deserts, forests, and ruined cities scattered around. The game doesn't spoon-feed you any details, but the world tells its story through its environments, making exploration feel all the more rewarding. Inhabit it. Kingdom Come Deliverance. If you're looking for an RPG that really makes you feel like you're stepping into the past, Kingdom Come Deliverance is a gem. Set in medieval Bohemia, the game throws you into a world that's gritty, realistic, and incredibly immersive. You're not some fantasy hero with magical powers or an ancient bloodline. Just a regular guy named Henry, a blacksmith's son trying to survive after his village is burned to the ground by raiders. The story starts personal and stays that way, focusing on Henry's journey from peasant to someone who gets caught up in the political turmoil of the kingdom. Now, one of the things that makes Kingdom Come Deliverance stand out is its commitment to realism. It's not your typical medieval fantasy where you're slashing through enemies like a pro with a sword. No, Henry starts off weak, untrained, and often getting his butt kicked. The combat system itself is surprisingly deep. It's all about positioning, timing, and skill. If you don't know how to fight, you'll feel it, especially in the beginning. But as you level up, practice your skills, and get better gear, you'll start to see Henry transform into someone who can hold his own. But it's not just about combat. This game has a ton of other systems to keep you engaged, from managing your inventory to learning how to read, cook, and even properly interact with people. You'll have to eat, sleep, and stay healthy, or else you'll get sick and your performance will suffer. It's the kind of game where you have to think about the little details, like making sure you have enough food and supplies before heading out on a long journey, or picking the right clothes for the weather. Kingdom Come Deliverance is perfect for those who want a more grounded, realistic RPG experience. If you're into historical settings, deep combat systems, and a game that makes you think about every decision, this one's a must play. It's not just about saving the world, it's about surviving in a brutal, unforgiving medieval world where every choice counts. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Alright, look, Skyrim is that one RPG almost everyone's heard of, even if they've never played it. And honestly, there's a reason people are still talking about it over a decade later, and yeah, buying it again for the 14th time. You start the game as a prisoner, classic Elder Scrolls move, seconds away from getting your head chopped off. Then, boom, dragon attack. Chaos breaks out, you escape, and pretty soon you find out you're the Dragonborn, someone who can absorb dragon souls and yell magical words so hard it sends people flying. No big deal. From there, you're pretty much free to do whatever the hell you want. Want to follow the main story and fight ancient dragons? Cool! Want to join a guild of sneaky assassins or become a powerful mage? Go for it. Prefer to just run around stealing cheese wheels and adopting orphans? Sure, why not? Skyrim doesn't care how you play, it just wants you to explore and live your own little fantasy life. The world is huge and beautiful in that rugged Nordic kind of way. Snowy mountains, haunted ruins, cozy little villages. It's got that I'll just explore for 10 more minutes vibe, and then suddenly it's 3 AM. There are quests everywhere, and even the small ones can lead to cool stories or weird moments, like getting drunk with a stranger and waking up in a temple with a goat you borrowed. And we gotta talk about mods. The modding community for Skyrim is insane. People have added new quests, better graphics, whole new regions, even turned the game into freaking Star Wars. On PC, it's basically a never-ending game.